Hello Hastings, welcome to another In Studio. I am Tom Wright, and joining me in studio is Miss Mary Hoffmann Fasbender. And Mary just made a pretty big announcement here in town because Mary here is running for mayor.
I am. Mary for mayor.
Mary for mayor, right there. That does kind of roll smoothly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, congratulations on your decision.
Thank
It's
you.
a big decision. So we're here to talk all about Mary's decision and get to know her as well. For those not familiar, her background, Mary here is a local business owner with MDK Design for Hair. Also, you may know her as the co-founder of Gobblegate, the big annual event held on Thanksgiving, a big fundraiser for Hastings Family Service. And so we're going to talk about, but we're going to delve more into the background and hear her story, where she grew up and all that stuff. Are you a Hastings native or?
Well,
Well,
yes.
we'll hear more. Let's tease
Yes.
them.
Okay.
We'll find out.
I think most
Mary.
people know where I'm from.
Right. So we'll talk about the background, campaign plans, what Mary's going to be up to this next year, and also get her viewpoints on Hastings, how she feels where Hastings stands in particular areas, and then and find out what can we expect from a Mayor Mary Fasbender in office.
Well, thanks, Tom.
Yes. So we'll find all that stuff.
I'll have to work a lot harder to get that first part of mayor, but I hope it's going to be a fun run.
Fun run.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the decision first. When did this idea first pop in your head? You know what? I think I'm going to run for mayor.
Years ago. I've kind of planted seeds throughout my whole lifetime. I'm civically very Hastings-minded, and I have worked with the schools, the chamber, some of the city commissions and organizations. Have done Gobblegate, and I just kind of dropped my seeds everywhere. And then after a while, I started thinking, you know, there's a reason why I do this. And partially at the beginning, when I started doing it back in 1983, when I opened my business, was because, you know, back then budget was still just minimal, but I didn't have the money to invest in paper, radio, and all the media, so I put myself out there into all of the organizations, and I volunteered, and that's kind of how I grew my clientele, I guess, I would say. And actually, a lot of those people still support me. So it was a fun way to get to know the community better, to get to know the people within, and people realize that I am a doer, I'm a finisher, and I am a leader. So they come to me a lot in various situations, and I take on a task if I feel I can do it. Great. Which I pretty much feel I can take on a lot of tasks.
Filing period's not till, I believe, May. Is that
right?
And so the next question is, why now? What the timing of this?
Well, it is early, but I do have other things on my plate, but mostly I'm all about businesses and the residents, what they would like to see change in Hastings, what's good that's going on in Hastings, and where the changes need to be. So I felt I needed more time to get out there and chat with people, and so then I can decide, you know, what is the priorities, not of myself, but of the community.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate for just a little bit here, because one question I think others might be thinking is, why run for mayor right away and not one of the at-large seats that are going to be up for election as well?
Well, part of that, I feel your mayor is your leader. And I feel I have good ideas, which I'm not going to vow until later. And when you're on council, you don't have as much action, you can't take as much action. So if I present things to the council, then we can talk about it, and I have done organizations before, and so I think I have the skills to take that on and present it and get it out to the community and see what their support is.
Very good. What is your family's reaction to this decision? Was this a easy sell or a tough sell?
Not at all. I actually told my staff, I did sell my salon last July. And shortly before that, I told my staff what my plan was. And they were like, yeah, well, like we knew that was going to happen, So I have a very large support staff. And that's another reason why I thought it would be easy to announce now, to see who is on my support. And they're all willing to help me, band together, I guess. And my family they too, I think, kind of knew that it was in my background. I mean, I've been talking about it for years. But when my business sold last July, that's when my husband kind of looked at me and said, okay, maybe this is part of all this action that's supposed to be going on. Even though I was really thinking about it and pondering, okay, I don't really want to have this big business, as long and have that going on, it would take, I wouldn't be able to give my business as much time. So when it sold, it was, okay, I think this is good. And Paul is my husband, and we have no children, and he's been pushing it for a long time. So very supportive. The whole community has been thus far. Last week is when I announced it, and I was just, overwhelmed at the responses and the outcries that people have had to me. So it's been good.
It's good to hear.
It's been good.
Tell us your story, your background, where you grew up and all that fun stuff, and how you got to where you are at today.
Well, I am from Meesville. Yes, home of, the Mud Hens, and I'm still a Mud Hen.
And great burgers at King's there.
Oh, great burgers at King's and Wiederholtz, and yeah. I grew up there, and I went to my first 5 years of school at the Catholic school, and then they closed that school down. And so then in 6th grade, I came to Pinecrest, and therefore, but we're still in the school district, Meesville was. So I am a lifelong resident of Hastings, just on the outskirts. My father had a service station, Hoffmann Direct Service, for years, and he also was very much into the community. He was a volunteer. He was actually the fire chief for many years, but a volunteer fireman for 40 years. And I always kind of teased because we had the bat phone in our house. Back then, you just called that number, and then my dad had to run out and pull the fire alarm, and then that's when the people would run. The volunteers would run, and then they'd go to the fire. So I grew up with it, always looking out the window wondering, is my dad going to come back? So my mom and dad were very much on the, if you love your community, you should give back to your community, and that's just how we were raised. So then moving forward, I opened my business in 1983 downtown. I was downtown for 21 years, and then in 2004 moved to Pine and 55 to what I call the big salon, and just last year recently sold. So within,
and you co-founded a little event called Gobblegates.
Yeah,
that some
growing
people in this
every
town
year.
have heard of. Yeah.
Yes, it's wonderful. In fact, I just came from a meeting, and it's every year. It's just so wonderful, and all of our money goes to Hastings Family Service, which, as everyone knows in Hastings, seems to grows larger and larger for the need, and yeah, we're very excited. We've been so fortunate with all of our sponsors, participation people, and our volunteers. I mean, you can't do anything without all three of those components. But yeah, Hastings, that's the other prideful thing about Hastings. You put it out there, and if there's a need for something, they're there to help you. I mean, that's what I love about Hastings. It's a beautiful community.
Totally agree with that.
Totally
agree with that.
Yes.
Let's stay on Hastings here. What are your viewpoints on Hastings in general? Let's narrow it down a little bit to the local government. What are your, would you say, biggest concern or concerns with local government that you feel needs to be addressed?
I love Hastings, and I'm not going to be critical because the past people have done a great job. I would love to see a little more river action in our downtown. Because my business was down there for 21 years, I still have that connection. Beautification of the downtown and the entrances of the community. I'd love to see growth in residential and commercial, which everybody always tries to work on that, and bringing in new blood and new energy might just have that little twerk that might bring something else new in. And, along with me, if I do become mayor, I have a whole group of people that is in support of me that they may have ideas. And that's what I really want to stress. I will be a listener. I'm a good listener. I mean, I've kind of had an open forum behind my hair salon, my chair, for the last 39 years. And so I'm a good listener, and if I can take action on it, I will. And I know everything is a process, but I truly believe that the emotion of this community is really vital. And maybe a little more emotion, a little less government. I really want to speak out to the people and see what like I said earlier, what is working and what they'd like to see change, because it is their community.
On the plus side, what do you say is working well, in particular with local government in Hastings? Where do you see it doing well?
Well, I mean, Rivertown Renaissance is beautiful. I mean, I think it's done a world of good for the community, but I still think there's just, you have to have a destination. And I don't know if streets and bridges are the destination. I think you have to have a little more of, like I say, downtown, maybe the businesses. Let's try to think, what can we bring into this community that will be supported by Hastings and people coming through town? And how do you get those people to get downtown, or to get to Westview, or to get to the bike trails, or let's do a little more. I know Christy is doing a wonderful job, but tourism, let's get a little more tourism going. And I know it all is baby steps, but like I said, with new energy and new people being involved, I'm hoping that can change.
So you're obviously running for mayor. So I think it's a fair question. What is your assessment of the current mayor, Paul Hicks?
Paul's a great guy. He's been in there quite a while, and I chatted with Paul, talked about it. It's not personal, has nothing personal. Paul and I are friends.
Okay.
And that's all I'll say.
That's all you say. Campaign plans. What are you going to be busy doing this next year to help to achieve that goal of being elected and becoming mayor of Hastings?
Well, if everybody knows, Gobblegate takes up all of our time right now till the end of the year. So it'll be kind of at rest for a little bit now. I will surely take any questions or phone calls or emails from anybody if they want to contact me. But at this point, we just thought it would be fun to get it out there, get people excited, get my people on board, and then come the beginning of the year, start campaigning. And to be honest, Tom, I don't know if I'm going to do much different than what I do now. I'm very active within the community. I go to as many meetings, civic organization, or civic events. I try to. I do. I support the community in a lot of ways. So I don't know that it's going to be a huge difference, because I am so involved at this point with the school, the chamber, the city, and just everybody, everything.
And let's say a year from now, let's say you are elected Mayor Mary Fasbender, and then you're sworn in. You put your hand up. You're sworn in at that first city council meeting in January. How do you see it going from there? What would be your priorities?
Well, there again, I'm going to put it out to the residents and the business owners, but strongly, I'm very. I want public safety to be one of our number one issues, because of my history with my dad in the fire department. And we want this town, this community, to be safe for everyone. We want or I want children to look at police and say it's a friendly policeman, but if you do something that you're not supposed to do, then they have to discipline you. So kind, but yet disciplinary, just like parents have to be.
Yeah.
Once again, beautification. I'd like to see some open forums for the community to be able to come to City Hall so they can speak what they feel. I mean, they're open now, but I just don't know if people really know that or feel that they're able to do that. And I strongly suggest that, as a community member, if you have something to talk about, then go to your ward person and tell them, or your at-large. And let's try to make this just a better community. I would love for people to be so proud that they work here, that they live here. That would bring more people to come here because of that.
You say you're still Mayor, Mary Fasbender here. What kind of leader would you be? How would you describe yourself, your leadership style?
Well, I've been a business owner for 34 years. I've always told my girls and boys that have worked for me, come to me. Don't leave it be, muddling out there in the back room or whatever. I want to be a, and I think I think I am very open to anything that anybody says, and I want to remain that way. I don't want to feel people being intimidated because of who I am. I'm still a community member too. I just may have that other name in front of me. So I always will be approachable, as I was in my business. And like I said, people know that I'm a good listener and I'm a good doer. So I'm very excited for the tasks that do come, be it good or bad. And there are going to be some bad along with the good. I understand that. Every community has that, and they probably should to, if nothing else, rustle the feathers. So let people know that they do have an opinion.
For those watching that are interested in more information on you or your campaign, or would like to support your campaign, where
Sure.
can they find you?
Well, I have a couple. I have a Facebook page, Mary Fasbender for Mayor. And on the Facebook page, near the bottom, there is a website that you can click onto, and you can go into there.
And we'll put that website address right up on the screen.
Okay,
Nice
that'd be
for our
great.
viewers there.
That'd
We
be
can use
great.
some TV magic and do that.
Sure. I'd love that. Yeah.
Well, Mary Hoffmann Fasbender, thank you
Yes,
very much for
thank you,
coming
Tom.
in, and congratulations
Thank
again
you.
on your decision
Yeah.
to run. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Best of luck to you on your campaign.
Thank you.
And
It'll be fun.
I'm sure this won't be the end of it. We'll be chatting again, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
That's what you sign on for when you do this kind of stuff. So
I
you
know.
got to deal with us media folks.
I know. That's okay.
So buckle.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for Hastings, so that's for sure.
Good to hear.
Okay.
Very good to hear.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, Mary Hoffmann Fasbender, running for mayor in 2018. I'm Tom Wright. Thank you for joining us on this In Studio. We'll see you next time.